Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you again so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to talk about some good and some bad things here, of course. That's per usual, what normally has to happen when you look at the charts, but we do have some interesting stuff. We'll start out with the positive. This is absolutely looking like an inverse head and shoulders pattern that could very well play out. Okay, it's not a guarantee, of course, but we have a nice little neckline here, and there's a solid chance that if the price does retest this upper 130 range, we will see a break and a continuation of the upside. Okay, so we'll pay attention to that. That is good stuff. Again, I'm not trying to get you any type of hopium. This is really just the realisticness of the charts. You know, there's layouts and different ways it can go. Truth is, these patterns do have a higher success rate, and Bitcoin is also printing an inverse head and shoulders pattern too. So it's something we want to be mindful of. It's also in line with our ABC pattern back to the upside after our 1 through 5 Elliott wave to the down. Okay, so again, there's a lot of different reasons why we should see a pivot here. If not, that's cool. We'll figure it out. We'll actually look at some alternative entries considerations, because you got to recognize too that Bitcoin has roughly 15 billion in liquidation at 56,700. That little area just below 57K could get swept, and that will change a lot of things with this analysis here if that happens. So please understand that is a very real thing, and it may possibly happen. At this point, we just got to be realistic and understand both sides of the equation. So let's take a look here, kind of zooming in this last 7 days of liquidation. We can see, again, 139, 140. I know one of my community members was asking, hey, you know, where do I secure profits? And I mentioned 138 is a better alternative to 140 just because oftentimes you'll see these previous areas liquidation get swept, or more important, local highs, the price going right past it and coming right back down. We exactly saw that here. In fact, things were looking pretty good for a cup and handle pattern too, and then U.S. market opened up, right? Traditional markets opened very poor because of some fundamentals there, and obviously it's par for the course. Okay. Now at this point, if we look, we got some heavy liquidation too, as low as 126.50. Okay. So the truth is, we could very well see the price pull back or go up. Liquidation is never an exact science. It doesn't necessarily tell you where the price is going. It just tells you, hey, there's incentive, and there's a decent chance this area could get hit if you're close to it. We are technically closer to this lower level, so that would be sensible for the price to come lower. We're starting to see a little bit of support at the 57.8 range for Bitcoin, and there's a solid chance that if this inverse head and shoulders plays out, we'll see the price recover and come right back up to 138 or higher. So let's take a look at the daily time frame and kind of work our way down and see where we're at, because when we look at the larger time frames, we want to recognize, well, me personally, the SMAs are important. While it's not like a deal breaker per se, it's just an important thing to recognize. Keep in mind, we do have a lot of liquidation down as low as 110 from previous here. This aggressive candle wick does imply there's some profits to be taken there. But to touch on the SMAs, we're underneath all of them, right? So, that doesn't necessarily mean you're just blindly bearish and you just short everything. It just implies that we're going to see some resistance when we come to that range, and the overall sentiment is going down. Okay, there's no other way around it. But try not to attach yourself to a bias, be like, everything's bearish, we're just trying to short from now on. That shift in momentum is trying right now. You're seeing it in smaller time frames, but the larger time frames, it's lagging, and you don't see it right away. Either way, the whole point of me telling you this is because we're underneath a lot of SMAs, RSIs, everything's pretty bearish. The only thing that isn't really a stochastic RSI letting us know that we're due for a continuation back up because we've been held down for so long, right? So generally speaking, you can only hold a flotation device underwater for as long as you can, and eventually you get tired and it comes back up. That's basically what's happening with the bears. They're losing their selling pressure. The only reason why it's high right now is because we opened with some pretty bad fundamentals. We take a look here though, unless we close at just say 128 or lower, we're not going to be able to have a bearish engulfing candle, and the truth is that there's a lot of benefit to not seeing that. Either way you look at it, this is not a fantastic or phenomenal macro, but just know that Solana is really, really good about overextending itself and reversing itself. So this is what happened when we hit an 8 on TD sequential. Price pulled back roughly, drum roll please, top to bottom, 21%. Okay. I'm not saying we're going to see this 21% spike from here. I'm just saying that generally speaking, it's common for this coin to overextend itself and to reverse itself pretty hard and pretty instant. So we're at an 8 right now. Hypothetically, price goes up. So again, just keep that in mind. Furthermore, 144 is still a strong resistance. That's our point of control basically on the macro. So just recognize we break free from 138, 144. Securing profit just below that would be appropriate on the long, right? You don't just blindly hold a long position open because, again, there's a lot of things you want to do, but right now we just want to be kind of mindful here. Keep in mind here too as well, while we're back underneath the 20-day SMA, we did break above this descending trend line, and I wouldn't say we're bullish by any stretch, but I would say that this is a positive sign here, being above that. This could very well be a bullish back test of the descending trend line. That does happen a lot. Okay, so try not to get too in your head over like losing an SMA, for example. It is unfortunate we're still under 50 on the RSI. Stochastic is pulling back. Money flow index is increasing, however. MFI going up, that does imply there's a lot more buying pressure where we're at right now, which is good. And the overall sentiment is that the MFI, what it does is it takes the last 14 candles and tells you how much buying pressure or selling pressure there is. So the last 14 candles has been more bullish than bearish, so that implies that there's a lot of more buying pressure in the recent range. While it doesn't reflect the exact range we're in right now, it tells us in general we're seeing a lot of accumulations at 133. Okay, so again, 133 is that potential resistance for us. So the price comes back up. That was supposed to work as a support, by the way. It didn't, and now we can presume it might be a resistance level. So I'm just going to pull this out a little bit further. Again, that point of control is not just a point of control, but it's also a local low turned into a resistance range now. So future reference, 133 is essentially that closer resistance for us. So if you're going to consider a short, that might be a good consideration. If you're going to take a long between now and then, you may want to consider securing profits before. That's just generally how you want to treat that range here for the moment. Last but not least, Ichimoku Cloud. Quickly confirm here we're below the cloud, but we have been only for a couple of hours. My rule of thumb is to wait at least 4 hours before I consider taking a trade in that direction. But at this point here, it looks like we're starting to break bearish. I know it's like, oh gosh, big surprise. Probably rolling your eyes right now, huh? How do you break bearish when the price has been pulling back for the last 14 hours? Again, there's different ways of looking at it, but the general consensus is that you want to wait for confirmation. And to me, a good confirming factor is waiting for the Ichimoku Cloud to kind of give you a full-on understanding that you're on those side of the tracks. Well, we have broken free from that little range. You don't just instantly buy into something or sell into something based on it initially breaking. And that's what confirmation is, right? So me personally, I'm going to probably wait until the daily candlestick closes before I consider a long or a short on this coin. I'd be leaning more towards a short, but I don't want to do that yet until I actually get there first, right? Until the charts prove to me that I am in a better position to take a trade with confidence. Okay. All right. Again, I just like to reiterate that because a lot of folks are unsure like what confirmation means. There's no exact description of it, but it's different for everyone. But me waiting longer helps me understand that we're in better shape because the overall trend is holding, right? Right now, it's still a little too early. While yes, last 3 hours have been bearish, traditional markets opened very poorly, and we saw a lot of gaps down on traditional markets. So it's not good. Either way, those gaps get filled eventually, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. I described that correctly. Thanks again so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. We'll look forward to working with you. Hope you have a good rest of your day.